Aloha, this is Aja Eyre, and today is February 13th, 2023, and I'm here representing the Maui Pono Network. And we're going to talk again about what's going on in the Maui County Council. So this week on Wednesday, there will be an internal policies meeting. So this may not be of interest to people unless you want to see how the council members talk and chat and quibble and maybe even argue with each other when they're talking about things that directly affect their workspace, their offices, and how the council functions overall. So to kind of explain what Wednesday is it's council members aren't allowed to meet more than two of them together unless it's public. And so this is kind of a public staffing and office policies meeting. So it might be fun to listen in. There's a couple of things that you could testify on. They are going to talk about the screening that happens on the second floor. Anyway, I'm going to try and tune in. I know some of us who watch the council are going to tune in just to kind of understand what is the heart and soul of this new council. What do they really, when it's not a meeting talking about bills and ordinances, what's the personality temperature? So that would be interesting for those of you who are interested in council politics. Friday's meeting is another general council meeting. So they'll have bills and ordinances that are going through there. Probably the most interesting and kind of far-reaching bill that's coming up is Bill 160. And that is a bill that started in the previous council, and it deals with regenerative agriculture at the Kula Ag Park. So the Kula Ag Park is going to expand. I'm sure most of you have been there or know where that is, but there's an expansion that's going to happen. And this bill requires that expansion to follow organic practices. So you're not going to see some of these unkind weed killers and pesticides, things that are not considered or best organic practices. So it doesn't require the farmers in this expansion to be certified organic, but they have to follow these rules that stipulate which weed killers and which pesticides that you can't use. So the really interesting thing about this is because this bill is coming from the previous council, we know that the previous council really valued regenerative agriculture. That was one of the things that they really pushed and they really supported. So the question is what does this new council value? And that's what we're trying to figure out. What do they value? Do they value regenerative ag? Now we want this to pass, of course, because it's helpful to those who are farming organically in the area. It's good for the soil. You know, it's a mid-mountain area, and so it's important that we not be putting things into the soil that are harmful to people downstream and all these things, but also just kind of stepping back from that. What are the politics of this new council, and do they value regenerative ag? So we'll be watching that on Friday. You're welcome to testify. If you have comments or concerns about it, make sure that you put those down below in the chat. Whatever way you're watching this video, we want to hear from you what you feel about that. And you know, just a reminder, we're heading into budget season, and it's an interesting time for the council because they received the first draft of the budget from our new mayor. So we'll get to see what the mayor values, and then we're going to watch what this council values. Now, the budget meetings have been in Council Member Kiani Rollins Fernandez's committee for the last 2 years, and now it is heading into Councilmember Sugimura's. So we're interested to see what is she going to push? How is she going to try to cajole the other council members to support what she is putting forward? There's just a lot of things. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we head into budget season. We hope we don't lose your interest, but this is a big deal because this is where your tax dollars, this is where your property tax dollars are spent. How is it spent? How does the county spend it? So we're going to pick through that. I find the budget process incredibly interesting. And if you've never looked at it before, you might be a little shocked as well. So hold on for that. We really appreciate your interest. We're glad that you're staying up to date on council happenings and you know, just how our county is governed. And we hope that you get involved. Again, please comment. Let us know what you want to know more about, what's confusing to you. Have you been able to manage the county website? You know, have you been able to make testimony? What problems are you running into? What things have worked well? Let us know. Let us be helpful. Let's just really get the community talking about how to be involved in our civic government here, in our local government. Again, I'm Aja Eyre, and this is Maui Pono Network, and we'll see you next week.